Hello, everyone. Welcome to That Local Life podcast. I'm your host, Sydney. This is Tyler.
What's going on, everybody? We have a very special episode today. We are on episode 19, I believe. Episode 19, the last couple months. Been pretty awesome. We have a guest on here today. His name is Jacob Bybee. He's the owner of Broken Bowl Catering and the Bybee-Q pit over in New Plymouth, right?
Yep, correct.
Yeah, thanks for being on today, Jacob. How are you, man?
Yeah, good. No problem. I'm excited. This is kind of my first podcast, and I love getting me out there, and I think this is kind of like that starting line to kind of introduce yourself into kind of the world, you know?
Sure. Yeah, that's really cool, man. I mean, I first met you, it was through Janin. I was over there doing insurance, and she's like, you got to meet this guy. He does all this cooking stuff. And I was like, all right, heck yeah. So that was just before we actually even started doing this podcast.
Yeah, it was it was kind of like the idea.
Yeah, the idea was
the
just
dream.
Coming to thing. Yeah. So it was kind of cool to come full circle, and now that we have you on, that's pretty
for
cool,
sure.
man.
It's super cool.
Yeah. So let's start with early childhood. Like, where did you grow up? Are you from around here? Have you always lived here? Like, where'd you go?
That's kind of like a trick question. Yes and no. Sure. Not to get real weird, but I was conceived in Idaho.
Okay.
In New Plymouth. My mom and dad moved out of New Plymouth in February of 86. Okay. And my dad took a job transfer to Lakeview, Oregon for wood grain.
Okay.
And back in the early 2000s, I can't do the math in my head real quick. Okay. Early 2000s, late 99, my dad got a job layoff for wood grain. They wanted him to transfer, and he didn't want to transfer, so he took the job layoff. Yeah. He went back to nursing school, and mom and dad had no money now because my dad's in nursing school, Sure. And so I got a job at a local pizza restaurant, and I was hooked. I mean, almost like a drug. Yeah. Like, cooking made sense where a lot of other stuff in life didn't make sense. I was a DF student, and I never was into school. Actually didn't even learn to read until out of high school.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I felt like I
just didn't belong.
Right? Well, back, now, as an adult, you can look back, I did, but I was a little made fun of, and so I was insecure about it, so I just, your body just, wouldn't let you do it.
You kind of just shut down to
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
And so, but, cooking came insanely natural, and, flavor profiles, and the pizza restaurant I worked at, they kind of, saw this, this in me, and they kind of just let me kind of goof off and kind of do some fun stuff, and we'd take the pizza dough and we'd make cinnamon rolls, and we'd make the cinnamon rolls and put them on top of the pizza oven and let them rise. And so I kind of started cooking, and I fell in love. And then after that, I was 18, and I cooked Thanksgiving dinner, a big chunk of it for my extended family here in Idaho. We came up, and my cousin married this guy named Matt Marvell, and his dad was a chef. Oh. And Matt was just talking to me, and he's like, hey, what do you want to do? And I'm like, at the time I already got into culinary school in Utah. And so I'm like, I'm moving to Utah, and I'm going to culinary school. He's like, dude, hey, my dad's a chef. He owns a catering company. Do you want a job? I'm like, dude, solid. Yeah.
Sign me up.
I'm moving to Utah, the same town where this job is.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Yeah, seriously.
So I'm like, yeah, for sure. Well, that was Thanksgiving. Well, I didn't hear anything
when you got up there?
I wasn't even up there. So I graduated high school. The next day I get a phone call from Matt. He's like, hey, when can you start work? I'm like, dude,
you're just in luck.
I wasn't even planning on moving until the fall because semester wasn't going to start. Yeah. And I already had that Pizzavilla job in Lakeview. So I was like, I'll just do this. And he's like, no, my dad could use the help. Yeah. When can you be here? And I'm like, 2 days. So I dropped I had no place to live or anything.
Yeah, sure.
I just loaded up. This. I loaded up my car with me and my girlfriend, and she quit her job, and we moved to Utah 3 months early. Awesome. And then we just found a place to live, and then I started catering, and that was the love. Yeah. Because unlike restaurant stuff, especially shorter to cook. With catering, you truly can master what you're doing. You can put all the love and effort into that one dish, and the next dish and the next dish. We're like kind of like that short order cook.
You're cranking stuff,
Yeah.
right?
You're trying to please your boss or your customers or whatever. That role is just insane. It's fun. It's addictive. But like when you want to like master flavor profiles and like start blending flavors and stuff, like that was my new drug.
Okay.
Like I just hooked. Like I was very focused at it. And cool. I was like, this is what I want to do. I mean, I already set myself like, well, I found my dream job. I didn't even go to college.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, you need college.
Well, my boss, he's a realist, dude. He's like, look, you can work for me and I'll teach you how to cook, or you can spend $80,000
and go to school and go to school. You likely won't do.
Yeah. Well, they taught you a bunch of stuff like I didn't want to learn, like all these extra credits. I'm like, I don't need to learn that, and I don't want to learn that. So that was kind of like a big, huge turnoff, like with the college scene and the $80,000.
Yeah,
and
that's rough.
That's a big one.
Especially when you're broke. You're like,
well, I mean. And they kind of like run your life, you know what I mean? Like they kind of tell you, like I've had friends go to culinary school and they spend, I think Cordon Bleu at the time was like $65,000 in Arizona, and they are like pharmacy techs now. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're totally out of the restaurant scene. Like, because it wasn't what they thought. Like the school itself ruined it for them.
Sure.
And that like broke my heart because like, my boss, dude, he was awesome. Like, like he would have done anything for me. And so, but
that's cool.
Long story short, my wife got pregnant and I needed health insurance, and cooking's not it. You're making $9-10 an hour, even though it's your dream job. Like, dude, I've got a kid to provide for.
Yeah, you got to make more than that.
So I left the restaurant industry for quite some years.
Really?
Yeah. And my dad actually he was a nurse. He was already out of nursing school. He was nursing. He's like, I know it's not your dream thing, but you can become a CNA, instant health insurance, instant
good
job.
benefits.
Yeah. And so that's what I did. I did that for 7 years.
That's a killer.
It was.
Knife to the heart right there.
It was.
That's a long time.
And it was.
But you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Because.
And how old were you when that switch came?
19.
19.
Yeah,
I was young.
I was 19. I worked in Utah for exactly 1 year and 1 day.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I still remember it like years later.
Really?
Because I quit my dream job.
Yeah.
Like it was it. This is it. And they were a mom and pop. Just they were just getting up and going. When I moved, they were building their final kitchen they're in now. But they're still mom and pop, like they have to look out for their investment and their family and stuff. So, and I had to do what's best for me. And so I did the ER. Well, I worked at the hospital. I did some ER tech stuff, which I loved. But it still wasn't paying the bills. Like we had.
Were you still in Utah?
No, in Lakeview. We moved back to Lakeview.
Went back to Lakeview?
Yeah,
okay.
I should have said that.
No, you're good.
So after my wife got pregnant, like I moved back to Lakeview because my dad's like, come
I got
here.
something for you. Yeah.
Well, and he's like, you could stay with us until you get on your feet. I'm 19 and having a baby on the way. Like
you're like, okay, whatever works.
Yeah, like dude, I was scared. Like, because it wasn't like planned. It was like.
It just happened.
Yeah, like, hey, we just got married in November. My wife wasn't feeling good during Christmas, and she's like, man, I don't feel good. I'm like, oh, you got the bug or something, Like, and we come back to we come back to Utah.
It was a bug.
Yeah, it was
She's
not
like,
a bug.
by the way,
it was
it's
a
baby.
permanent bug. Yeah.
We're stuck with it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Like, it was not planned.
Sure.
Like, it was like this shell shock. And so you just go into like humanly instinct survival mode,
Like, what do we have to do to prepare for this? We have about 8 months.
It was totally like a blessing in disguise because it makes you grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's two people in life. You got the people that run, mom or dad, whoever it is, they ditch the baby and run because they're scared, or you just grow up.
Yeah.
And
get after it.
And it was truly a godsend because, I wouldn't say I was like immature, but
you definitely had things to learn. Yeah, for sure. 19-year-old,
Well, because you didn't really have to hold down a job. Like, oh, I'm not happy, I can go do something else.
Yeah, and you only really have yourself to provide for. I mean, you had a wife, but having a kid is...
But, like, your wife can work, too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, she has her own money, I have my own money. So, and, hey, my boss pissed me off today, I'm going to go do something else.
Yeah.
But you can't really do that anymore when you have, like, that little kid looking at your eyes, and you're like... oh, Daddy couldn't get you Christmas this year, because I quit my job because
I couldn't hold a job.
Yeah.
That's fair. When did the switch happen for you where you're like, I am done with this stuff. Fuck this. Like, what's next?
So a nurse, we used to talk about food all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the time, like Food Network, Travel Channel, like in like 05, 06, 07, really was kind of hitting people and like really getting the food scene. People say the 90s, but I disagree. I would say 05, 06, 07, that recession, people are jobless at home watching TV.
Sure.
Like people really hit that television and really started looking at that food scene kind of blow up. And so they would just ask me questions. And I'm kind of like a little bit of a comedian, so I'd always have funny catering jobs.
Sure.
About just dumb stuff people would ask on catering jobs.
Yeah.
And so this lady from Burns, Oregon, she got a job at our hospital, which is like 2 hours away from Lakeview. And so she was, I don't know if she was doing it for extra money. I don't quite remember. So anyways, we talk about food, and it was 2 days before Thanksgiving, and she's like, hey, can you make me a banana cream pie? Sure, why not? Why not? Yeah. I'll do it. And I've never really made one before. Like, that wasn't like my forte.
Sure.
But I wanted it to be special. Like, I just didn't want it to be like a hot pudding over bananas like your grandma did.
Sure.
And so I actually just made a banana mousse, just off the handle, and I sauteed the bananas in cinnamon and butter, put those on the bottom so they wouldn't turn brown.
Yeah.
Put the banana mousse on it, put the whipped cream on it, and then I toasted some almonds and some sugar, and then we blended that up and threw it on top. So you got that salty, sweet flavor profile. And I gave it to her, and she left, and I didn't see her for like a week until the next week. And she's like, dude, why the fuck are you working at a hospital? She's like, that's the best fucking pie I've ever. Like, she's like, she went off, like, we worked 12s, and she went off for 24 hours about this pie.
Yeah.
And
she's like, that shit was good.
Yeah, she was like, why the hell are you working at a hospital? Like, you were wasting your life.
Yeah.
Like, I've never tasted something this good. And I was like, because a lot of people, like, they pat you on the back, and it's hard to, like, sit here and brag about yourself.
That gives me chills. That's cool.
You know what I mean? Like, who goes, unless you're a cocksucker, like, then that's not me. Like, I'm the best at everything. Like, it's not, I'm very reserved. Like, and it's hard to put yourself out there, like, I have the best banana cream pie. And so, but she went off, and she's like, and she started showing me, like, she was getting on the computer, like, you can start an Oregon business license, and, like, you could sell pie.
Yeah.
She, like, started building up my confidence. I was like...
She'd already built your business for you.
Yeah,
like, you're right. I can do this.
She was. Like, my biggest fan. Like, she rode me, and I didn't know she was riding me. Like, she was building me up.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
almost
so
like a
cool.
mentor.
That is so awesome.
And so, like, I was like... I can do this. And so I started messing with other pies, and I developed like a chocolate peanut butter pie and like a coconut cream pie. And I just started doing this. Yeah. And so like my wife is like, well, let's sell them. So the next Thanksgiving, I started a business and I sold pies, and we sold 135 pies.
That's crazy.
In a small town.
Dude. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it kind of just blew up from there. And then I realized I need more money.
Yeah.
As a CNA, you're making $11 an hour.
Yeah.
Barely surviving.
Yeah.
I was working all the overtime I could.
Right.
Like I remember one October, once I went into work September 29th, and I did not have a day off until November 2nd. I worked every single day because like it takes a long time to get to England in a canoe, and I was trying to save for Christmas, and I was trying to save for like my wife, and like our anniversary's in November, and her birthday's the first part of December, and so I'm like, I'm gonna pound all this overtime out because it's hunting season, and so people want time off, and so I just busted all this overtime out, and that stuff got old.
Dude, that burnout would be
I was
heavy
super.
on that
So
one.
I did that for 6.5. I mean, someone's going to listen to the podcast and be like, and they did this. I like 6.5, 7 years is what I did.
That's long enough.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And so my wife and I talked like, we need more money.
Yeah.
At the time, we already said to ourselves, we are going to cater.
Yeah.
We're opening a restaurant, something in the food industry.
Yeah.
And we looked at the state of Oregon prison. We had some friends that worked for the prison.
Sure.
And they pay you a ton of money, a ton of money. And we're like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we got the job at the prison, but that made us lose focus because now we have all the money that we ever wanted.
Sure.
And we started being stupid with
Yeah.
it because like
You
you're
just
like
didn't have that
25.
discipline,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that 25,
Well,
27.
yeah, now you have a lot
we
of
went,
money.
Well, we went from
Nothing
like
to-
$1,500 a month to like
To a few thousand a
5,000.
month,
You know,
yeah.
like
You're
and,
like, let's blow this.
Yeah, totally. Like the
Well,
only
your
time
mindset was still here, right?
Yeah,
You hadn't
yeah.
worked up to that
well,
level
like
yet.
like I don't know if you ever been there, but like when we first got
Oh,
the
yeah.
job at the prison, we got the paycheck, and we'd go to the store and be like, check the bank account, can we? And we're like,
What can we get?
shit, there's still $4,000 in
You're
there.
like, let's go.
Like, yeah, dude, it was like, what the fuck is
I love
happening? You know, and so like we spoiled ourselves, you know, for a couple years, and my grandfather died in that time, and I owed my dad some money,
Sure.
and my grandpa's house here in Idaho needed remodeled bad,
Yeah.
bad. And so he's like, my dad's like, hey, go remodel the house. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll do it.
Sure.
And so I did, construction with my
Yeah,
friend
just
Pat
odds and
Burns
end
on
jobs.
the side, and so we started remodeling the house. Like in 2015, my wife, we are over like probably the ninth time over, almost done with the bedrooms in the house.
Yeah.
The basement was unlivable, but my
Sure.
dad's like, we'll take the loss on it. They won't count the basement as livable
Yeah.
space. And so we loaded up, I think we loaded up my truck, and we're heading back, and we hit Vail. And my wife looks at me and has like a little tear in her eye, and she goes, you know, I honestly feel like I'm leaving home. I'm not going home. And I'm like, dude, let's transfer here. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And we transferred to Idaho.
That's
Fuck
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
There you
so
go.
I
How old was that?
that was in 2000. We moved here January 1st of 2016.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I
Nice.
still worked for the prison system.
Sure.
And someone called us that fall. So it would have been fall of 2016. Someone called us and said, "Hey, I'm LDS. I'm a weird LDS, but I'm LDS. I'm very active LDS, but
Sure.
I'm
You're a little outside the fringes.
I'm a real person. I'm not
Yeah.
fake. I'm Jake Bybee wherever I go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care if I'm at church or
Yeah.
I dropped the F-bomb at church yesterday or 2 days
You're
ago.
like, my bad.
Yeah, so
love
anyway.
that.
So anyways, we get this phone calls, like someone's like, hey, can you cook the corn for the fall social? And my wife's like, yeah, we can cook all of it. They're like, no, you can't. And my wife's like, yeah, we can. We can cook
bet
all
your
of it.
sweet
Well, that's
ass
like
you
200 people.
You're like, it's
We-
fine.
Yeah,
Cool,
we
man.
can cook corn for 500 people. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, well, I had a massive smoker on wheels.
Yeah.
So we drug it to the church and we loaded it up with corn and cooked it all at one time. And
Yeah.
the bishop came to me and he's like, what's the story here? And so I told him, and I was like, my dream is to cater, but
Yeah.
I'm still ways from it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, do you want to do like the church Christmas party? I'm like, yes, I do.
Yes, the right person.
Yeah, and so we ended up doing that Christmas Christmas party. We did prime rib.
Yeah.
I make this stuff called brandy mushroom gravy that Jack taught me how to cook, mashed potatoes, and the people were hooked.
Yeah.
Like they've never had food like this. And I remember moving here, going to a church potluck, and I felt like I moved into the 70s. Like I
Really?
was like, what the hell is this food? Like I kid you not, there was still like Jell-O
Yeah.
with like carrots and peas in it.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
and I was so used to, because like backing up, like in Lakeview, I catered all the church
Sure.
functions.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Right.
like he can cook, and why not? And so I've been like really full-time catering church functions since like 09, 2010.
Yeah.
And so like coming here and like seeing that, I was like, these people need help.
They don't
Like,
know what they're doing.
Yeah, like at all. Like I seriously felt like I moved back in the 70s. I was like, this is disgusting.
You're like, I'm out.
Yeah. And so anyway, so I started like doing small stuff,
Sure.
and then like people that I went to church with, they're like, hey, can you do our daughter's wedding? And
You're like,
hey,
of course.
and like I would do it at cost just
Yeah.
to get your name out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so I just started doing this at cost, and then in 2020, I got hurt at work, had to have shoulder surgery, and my son at the time came to me. I said, Dad, you're really happy, because I've been off work for like 7 months.
Yeah.
No.
And he's like, Dad, you're really happy. He's like, I like this, Dad. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm the same, like, whatever,
Yeah.
And so then I got the phone call to go report back to the prison, the doctor released, and I became an asshole. And right there I quit.
Yeah.
Because I realized that my children will come first before money, and I truly don't worship money.
Sure.
And so I quit.
Good.
And we had some catering stuff on the books. This was March of 2020. March 3rd of 2020.
Oh,
Okay.
You're deep COVID.
Yeah.
Or just in the start of it anyway.
Yeah. And so we had some graduation parties booked, making money that year. My wife's like, hey, I'll stay on at the prison. And as we get the catering going, we'll just
Sure.
keep. And then as we get busy, I'll just quit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And so basically just destroyed our business.
Sure.
My wife ended up quitting shortly after that because of the COVID bullshit and in Oregon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Rough.
And super rough. And so she ended up quitting also, and we were poor. We had no money.
Sure.
And so I started selling illegal barbecue out of my house. I converted my garage. I cashed out my retirement, converted my garage into a full catering kitchen.
Heck yeah.
And I just started selling illegal barbecue, and it worked. People came. I think there you got that sympathy factor that people know I didn't have a job. My wife didn't have a job, and so we got that sympathy factor, and people just ordered from us. And then I just accessed the right people. I took that leap. What is that? One of those famous guys say, you got to take that leap, and I took it.
Yeah.
And I flew.
Yeah.
And so
2020, you're gonna fall or fly.
Yeah. 2020, we did no sales.
Sure. Yeah. As far as the government is concerned.
We did no sales. And then in 2021 it just got better, and then 2022 it got better.
Yeah.
And then we just that truck stop building in New Plymouth, they decided not to open up their corporate cafeteria. And a guy told me about it, and I jumped on it, man.
Yeah.
And
because that was really the only place you could really move into, right? Wasn't it?
It's really designed for catering.
Sure.
Because cafeterias are really designed for bulk cooking, just because of the idea of a cafeteria.
Yeah. I mean, you have all of your line stuff versus more set up short order type stuff.
Yeah. And so I have big ovens, big burners.
Yeah.
And we just set up shop in there and just started advertising like heck, and
now you have a legal operation.
Legal kitchen, and
That's funny. Heck yeah.
But it's always that it's still struggle. January, February is the worst month to be a restaurant.
Terrible.
Absolutely the worst lunch. like a good month to be a gym member or a gym owner.
Yeah, seriously.
And I never really thought about it because kind of you suffer, if you suffer any form of depression or doubt, these months just destroy you
the
mentally.
worst. 'Cause you have too much time on your hands.
Yeah.
That you're just thinking, you're like, man, I suck. I'm not gonna. Nobody wants my food right now.
And no catering's happening. Unless you live in Salt Lake and people get married 24/7. You're on a waiting list to get married at an event center. Here it's dead, it's dried up.
Yeah. It's dead.
Everybody's maxed out their credit cards for December.
Yes,
No business wants to do anything because they just did stuff. And so you just kind of roll into this really depressing time of year, you know. And so
I get that. That's crazy though, man. I mean, that's super cool to go from what you were doing, got out of your dream habit, and then somehow somebody kicked you in the ass, and now you're back doing it.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love to see that progression.
Well, and I think people notice the passion in people,
always.
It takes it. That gal, Jody, that inspired me with that banana cream pie. She ended up taking her life the year after I moved here.
Damn it.
And I took it pretty hard.
Yeah. I would too.
We didn't, we stayed in touch as of working together.
Yeah.
And we were friends on Facebook, but just my life went this direction at the prison, and her life went this direction because she was a nurse.
But she was still a huge influential person.
Huge. And then, I noticed on Facebook, she had a weird post, she was obsessed with animals, loved animals, loved animals. And so she posted she was giving all away her animals. Well, that's a huge sign of something's going on.
Yeah.
And then the next post is hey, we can't find her. And then the next post was, we found her.
That's
and
crazy.
I was actually fighting a traffic ticket that I got, my first one ever, got in Payette. Man, I hate that town now. I got a traffic ticket, and I was fighting it.
Yeah.
And I was, you sitting on there waiting for the judge to call your number.
Yeah.
And I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw that and I just started bawling, man.
Yeah.
Like I was just like so
That's
devastated, like I wish I could look because, and truly because of what she did for me, like I would love to show her like what I've become because of her influence. And,
she's watching.
Yeah, she's watching. But, it's amazing that what one person's kind act sparked.
Can do for you.
All it takes is one person.
Yeah,
That's
like
literally
if you
all it takes.
there's two types of people. I mean, I think there's multiple types of entrepreneurs. There's the guys that just know they can do it, and then the guys that need the kick in the ass.
Yeah.
And I was one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm not the type that's going to sit there and brag about myself.
Sure.
I don't know if I have the best salsa.
Yeah.
People like it, but I don't know if I have the
Yeah,
best.
They told me it's good, but
Yeah,
I don't.
They
I don't know what
drink
that
it
means.
and they eat it like soup. It's weird, but And so, and
get that.
that's always been me. Is like, it's. I feel like I don't know, like because you cook. I don't know if you ever get that. Like, it's hard to be like, because you do like awesome burgers, like
That's our
just
thing.
really outside of the realm of just like
your normal burger.
Your
Yeah.
average burger.
Yeah, for sure. And
Definitely.
that's kind of like what's trendy in the world right now.
Yeah.
Like people have had that Five Guys burger for years, or the McDonald's burger for years. Like,
Yeah.
They want something new.
yeah, they do, and they crave it. They
do.
truly crave it.
Yeah,
And I
weird.
blame TikTok.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh,
the
for sure.
weirder it is, the
Yeah.
more people are like, I want that.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
Well,
that.
like the weirder
yeah.
the video is, the more it goes viral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So,
Because you were saying, like, you do some weird stuff with some of your food, kind of, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
off the wall stuff.
yeah. If I can get the ingredients and stuff. Like
Uh-huh.
right now, we're working on like a I was working on it today, and then I couldn't get the dry ice I wanted, and so it's on hold until tomorrow. Until Ager calls me back. Dang it, Ager. But yeah, we're working on like I saw in Hell's Kitchen where I was actually at Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, nice.
Where they do this coconut ice cream dish and they put it on ice and they pour liquid nitrogen over it and it steams and stuff. I don't want to store liquid nitrogen and it's expensive.
Yes.
So I'm like, I can just do dry ice on the bottom and pour water on it on the side because it
And
just
still
hits
get
the
the
ice
same
and-
steam,
Yeah,
yeah.
still. So we wanted to do like fun stuff like that.
That's
Honestly,
super
like I don't know. I was going to ask you about this. It's kind of a cool conversation we can have.
Yeah.
Right now, what's really sucking for me, truly, is people cannot believe that I'm that. If I was as good as people say I am, why am I in New Plymouth? Like, why aren't you in Boise? And I'm like, because Boise's rent is $20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
like, you
dude,
want to pay
I
for me to be
mean,
there?
Yeah. I mean, do you get
That's
any
tough.
of that stuff?
I do get a lot of that stuff. I mean, I do get a lot of people that are saying, like, why, like, your concept would absolutely fucking kill it in Boise, right? And you're like,
Dude,
why
yeah.
aren't you there? I'm like, well, it obviously, I mean, I'm $1 million plus just to get a restaurant downtown Boise.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, I love the small town vibe. Like, I'm here to bring the small town people stuff that you usually have to go to Boise to get, right?
Yeah.
And so you're just putting yourself out there. You bring the people to you. You don't go to the people. You bring them to you.
Yeah.
So it's all about, it's all in the marketing. Like maybe, like I know in your place, you can't do a lot of like advertising. You can't do a lot of signage. You can't do you don't really have a good place to have people come in. Like I went in there. It looks like a funeral home.
It does.
Right?
it is the best kept secret.
It
in New
really
Plymouth.
is. It really is. And my place has been for the longest time. Like people, like you used to sit back here. Like this was my seating area. Like you used, yeah,
Oh, no
yeah,
this was it.
yeah, and then we finally built one.
Yeah, we built our seating area a couple of years ago now, but yeah, like this was it. Like nobody knew about us, nobody knew anything, and then I started doing the upside down burger, and all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, now I know you're here." And Dennis came in. We did a podcast with him, and he's like, "Dude, you don't have any signage. Like no reason."
But it's hard to
nobody
get
knows
it
about
out
you.
here because the few that you're able, like billboards, the few that you're able to get,
all the
they're
billboards are taken. All like advertising medias are taken. Like really, the biggest thing for us has been social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you've noticed a little bit on Facebook and stuff. Like your videos get a lot of views.
Yeah.
Like they do. So like you keep doing that stuff, and like it would be probably a good idea for you to start looking for a different building, right?
Yeah, so that's our goal. Like our
I'm
goal.
sure.
Like our goal. We're shooting for 2026.
Okay,
I need
there
to
you
raise
go.
$3 million, people. So
GoFundMe.
yeah.
Well, why do you got to go that big? Why can't you just go find another rental, lease space, or whatever that you can put stuff in, or a restaurant that's already going down?
It's kind of like it's Payette County. There's just nothing.
Sure.
There's just
it doesn't have to be Payette County. Ontario, you got Fruitland, you got the Mirage just closed down here in Adrian. Like there's no place.
That's true. My end goal is an event center.
Sure.
Mine too. My end goal is catering. The restaurant business is fun.
Sure.
And again, God bless the people that do it. It's not me.
Yeah.
It's definitely not me.
It's tough, dude. It's rough.
It is.
Because you got to constantly get people excited and new, and like you said, you don't have the time to perfect your craft.
Yeah.
Like you can sit there and spend a week on a brisket if you wanted to, just to figure it out.
Yep.
Like you can't do that here. Like you need to know your brisket tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and the audacity of people, like when I run out, like you run out, it's 4 o'clock. Well, bro, like some guy came in and bought
all of it.
I have dope brisket. Like people.
Like I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah. Like when someone comes in and like in my situation,
you can keep talking. You're good.
In like my situation, I have a guy rolling in right when I open at 4 o'clock and wants to buy me out a brisket. I'm doing it because
what
happens if no one else comes in the rest of the night?
Cash
like
in my bank.
Yeah, like I have to do what's best for my family, and the customer service base. And I love all my customers, but you just get those people that for some reason you'll have 100 people love you.
Yeah,
and then
the
one person.
And that one person is the one that aggravates the hell out of you.
Like it just gets under your skin.
Somebody will come and be like, "Why the hell are your buns like this? Like this is the most stupid thing on the planet." I'm like,
"Then don't."
I'm sorry,
eat here.
you don't have to eat here, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, and I always say like, check my social media. Like I don't hide anything. Like I advertise until sold out. That's what I advertise.
Yeah.
And that it's so funny. Like I've been watching a lot of podcasts and like watching these guys, and they're like, there's a lot of good information out there for people to just like those naysayers, and a lot of people are just jealous. Like they're truly just jealous of you. The more good you do, the more they just hate you.
The more they hate you. The more they hate you. That means you're doing something right though. So like you got to take some solace in that of like, hey, somebody took enough time to notice that
and
to
hate
notice
on me.
and hate on me, right?
Yeah.
So like you got to take a little bit of that, and your haters are going to be your biggest advocates, right?
And they're ones that stalk you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
They're the ones that like on your post every day like, man, this sucks. This food is terrible. Don't eat this food. But then those comments go viral and people are like, I'll go check this guy out. I need to see for myself.
Yeah.
That's how you get big, right?
Yeah.
So I would challenge you to find another building fast.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and
it doesn't even have to be fancy or whatever. Like, just get out of where you can so that way you can advertise the way you need to.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. We met with a commercial real estate guy last week.
Okay.
He pulled some specs for me. We're looking at one building actually in Fruitland. But it's not like it's starting from ground zero because it's not zoned commercially.
Sure.
It's zoned agriculture. I feel like they're asking a little much for all that footwork I have to do for them because they operated pretty much an illegal business out of it for like 30 plus years.
Awesome.
You know, it was kind of like that grandfathered in. Everybody just thought it was legal, and so no one
questioned it.
Yeah, no one questioned because
and then you take it over and you're like, okay.
I'm like walking the building, and I'm like, most buildings will say like MAC occupancy, especially like these big, like especially if it's a commercial building, they'll tell you for fire code, MAC occupancy. Dude, there's not one anywhere, and they're like, and I'm like, because it's definitely a building. It's definitely a building that you could turn into an event center. It's really, there's offices upstairs, lower underneath offices. I could turn into a massive commercial kitchen.
That's
kind of the
awesome.
ideal situation. But then like the more I'm like digging into it, and then like
You're
the guy,
there's a lot that needs done.
tons. And for how much they're asking.
This guy needs to go big. He needs about $3 million. So give it to him. But in the meantime, like we need to find something else for you, man. Because
it's coming. Like, but I'm trying to I'm really trying to focus on what will make me happy for 30 years.
Focus on what you're good at, right?
You know,
and if it's not right, it's not right.
It's definitely not the restaurant industry. It's too much stress. Like it's way too much stress.
Dude,
like you order the $3,000 in groceries, and $1,000 shows up for the week. You're just like, well, I'm in the hole, $2,000.
Oops.
Awesome. And wait, I'm more than that because I had to pay employees.
Yeah.
And so like that stress is just, it takes the fun out of cooking. It really does, And so
that's fair. That is definitely fair.
And so like this week, actually, so me, my wife, and my son, he's my prep chef. He dropped,
How old is your son?
He's 16. He dropped out of
16.
school.
Okay.
Wish like the same thing I wish my parents would let me do.
Yeah.
Same.
It was for him. Like he has depression, and like it was weird watching him like super depressed. And then the day I told him he could drop out,
He was just a whole different
and so I was like,
person.
oh, it's that new car smell. He's like, dude.
No.
His depression is probably two thirds
Better,
less,
yeah.
and I could not believe like what children go through. Like I'm his parent, like I'm not gonna sit here and say that's the best thing for him.
Sure.
But I think mentally and kind of like spiritually, it was the best thing for him. If he was under that much stress and he's changed and he's happy and he works for me, he doesn't complain. So definitely.
Well, it's not like he's sitting at home playing video games.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
It sounds like he's doing something.
Yeah, like he works for me, and like he actually like he saved my ass. He's like, Dad, we need a hot griddle. We need to start like selling like burgers, and we need to start selling. And so he came up with these hot sandwiches.
That's awesome.
And so like, dude, we were like selling out of them every day.
That's
awesome.
so cool.
And he's like, dude, we need to do a Philly cheesesteak. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Dude, that's one of like our top lunch there.
That's
and like,
nuts.
this is all him. He's 16. And this is like, I'm not going to take their credit. Like he's coming up with these really good ideas,
That's
that
awesome.
he's like,
that is super cool.
well, I think he connects with youth, like what kind of sells in their realm.
Oh, for sure.
And I kind of think more like Gordon Ramsay kind of style. Like I like fine dining stuff, but affordable fine dining. I don't really like the little knick-knack art
Your
decorating
plate's
part.
this big.
Yeah.
and It's $100.
I'm not into that, but that super advanced flavor profile is
Sure.
what I like feeding people and seeing them like that glow in their eyes when they
like
bite
this
it.
shit's good.
They're
yeah.
like, what the hell?
That's
like he
awesome.
sold his soul. Like
So what's paying the bills right now for you? Is it the restaurant side or is it the catering side?
Neither.
Neither.
That's
fair.
Neither.
That's fair.
Like,
but where do you get like most of your stuff coming from?
Catering. For
Catering?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. The catering floats the restaurant.
Yeah.
We have to steal money from catering
Really?
to pay restaurant bills.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Interesting.
For sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the
I mean, I would honestly just equate that to the spot that you're in for the restaurant side.
Yeah.
Because if you were in like a little bit more visible location, guaranteed you wouldn't be having that problem.
Yeah, my buddy Chris, he hasn't done it for a while, but for a while there he was sending me like Nampa restaurant closes this month or this much rent, Meridian restaurant closes.
Sure.
And again, it's just not me. Like it's not. I know not to brag, but I know I can go to Boise, and I know.
You'd kill it,
dude. I would.
And okay,
and I wouldn't be stressing.
Let's
about
really
this stuff.
ask why you don't want to do that. Why do you not want to do that?
I don't want to live in Boise.
No,
and
you
I
don't have to live in
And it's
Boise.
never been about the money.
Sure.
It's never been about the money. I fed 400 people for free on Thanksgiving. It's never been about the money, and it never will be about the money.
Yeah.
I love that.
My brother-in-law said years ago that the more you worship money, the more you rely on money.
Oh,
Yeah, it's true.
And
That's
so
definitely true.
I decided at that point not to worship money anymore. And I go through the process of cooking because I'm obsessed with cooking. Like it's in my head. I was driving out here, a 30-minute drive out here, and all I thought about was cooking. Like
that.
I was talking to my food supplier Heather, and she was talking about this. I'm gonna butcher it. Is it Duroc pork? It's a pork.
I have no clue.
Duroc. I think
is it like a fancier pork? Yeah.
So it's a
I know what you're
burger
talking about.
that's mixed with 50% Duroc pork and 50% Angus. And so
Interesting.
I'm gonna throw that on the menu as a special
Yeah.
this week and kind of just add some flair to it. And
That sounds awesome.
And what could I do to not make this as mom and pop burger? Because
Yeah.
that's not me. And so I was just thinking like, I could get some blue cheese,
Yeah.
and get some
Do something weird with it.
like
Yeah.
a blueberry reduction
Yeah.
with some balsamic in it, and put it on top.
Dude.
And so
Dude, I love how your mind works. That's so awesome.
but that's me 24/7.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get
and
it.
So
I definitely get it.
I can't shut it off, and
Yeah,
so
I hear that. Sometimes it's a blessing. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass.
yeah, dude, it is.
Especially
for
when you try to
sure.
lay your head down at the night. You're like, what else could I do?
And
He just sits there and turns and
Dude,
turns
it does.
and
Like
turns.
the other, it was Saturday night. I didn't fall asleep until 4 a.m. just trying to think of fun stuff I can do. Because like you get a lot of stuff from TikTok and all
Sure.
that stuff. but you also don't want to copy people because
Yeah.
you want to
Of
be
course
like
not.
authentic. Like
Yeah.
you can easily take their ideas and make it better in your world, whatever you think is better.
Yeah.
But you just sit there and you spin your wheels on like, what can I do to kind of get out there? Because like, I mean, who doesn't like, I think it'd be kind of cool to be recognized, you know, so,
of course.
you know, somewhere.
I mean, you have to, in order to like get a little bigger. I mean, I know money doesn't mean anything, but money is a tool.
Yeah.
Money is a tool that helps you get to that event center. It helps you pay the bills, helps you provide for your family. At the same time, it helps you get to those next levels in life. So when you're able to use that money to like buy that building, because then it gets you to a different level of space where you can actually take the time to perfect your craft, not be stressed all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're on the right track there. We just gotta get you there, man. And why did you want to open up the restaurant in the first place? Like, why did that come about?
Access to people.
Sure.
So like it's super hard. Like it's a hard sell. Like selling to a bride, selling to a corporation. Hey, pay your $3,000 deposit, and you haven't tried my food.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in the catering world, it is super hard.
I bet.
And so that it's
more just a front.
Well, and I mean,
Kinda.
we went from. I'm gonna probably butcher and I'm an honest person. Like,
dude,
we went from 100,000 in sales in catering in 2021 to 300,000 sales in 2020 just catering.
That's amazing.
And then the restaurant destroyed us. So
What'd you do on the restaurant side though?
like
Sales wise numbers?
negative.
Oh shit, really?
Negative, yeah, for sure.
Damn, that's rough. What ate you alive? Was it the rent? Was it like
No,
just
it's not the
selling
rent.
food?
It's just the unpredictability. And
is
well,
pretty
you saw that location.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
people don't realize like I don't even have street access.
No,
I'm hidden
none.
by a double wide trailer.
It's tough.
Like
So it's like people literally don't know you're there.
no, like
And that will hurt you.
yeah,
Oh,
you know, and
that's
everybody's
killing
like, this lady came in the other day and she's like, I finally found you.
Oh, my
And she's
goodness.
like, I always was looking up for a sign. Well, I have I call them Dutch Bro signs because I feel like they're the ones that made them popular. Those like
Yeah.
TP
Oh,
signs.
yeah.
And so I always call them Dutch Bro signs. Yeah, shout out to Dutch Bros. But that's what
funny.
I've always called them because
Yeah.
that, like, to me, like coming from a small town, that's the first place I've ever seen them have those those
Sure.
TP signs.
Yeah.
And so that's all I have. You know,
Right.
and honestly, my lease is so fair because I think they realize my situation that it's hard to complain about it.
Sure.
You know, and what's really helped me truly is the stuff I do for the community.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I heard you do a lot, right? Like you do Thanksgiving dinners, you cater for churches and stuff still,
we get rid of our leftovers after catering jobs because there's no like soup kitchen around here or nothing. And so we give away our leftovers, no
that's
charge.
awesome.
Like
That's
we do charge for like to go containers because that does cost us, you know. And so what we do is we just take our tip box, and if people want to donate, and
Sure.
all we do is we just take that money and buy more to go boxes for
Sure.
people,
just to re-up to it.
yeah. It's not like I'm like taking it and like shoving it in my pocket, like just because like the need and access to good food is just not out there in this valley.
It's not.
There's not.
It's really
Like,
not.
There's
It's so few and far between.
when I make a Facebook post that I have free leftovers and there's over like 60 people lined up outside my restaurant, like
That's cool.
obviously there's a need for people to have good food, and like a lot of people. I was like,
Just
what the
opening the
hell
safe,
is that noise? Dang, I'm gonna bring WD-40 next time.
That's funny.
But the access to like good food is just not out, and not I don't mean good food, but just like food in general,
There's
not like
not
McDonald's.
a lot of
Yeah.
restaurants.
When I lived in Boise, I would eat out all the time, and now it's like, well, we got to drive like 30 minutes for decent
Yeah, for us, I mean, we are the food here. The restaurant just down the road closed down, so like we are it until you get to Nissa or Homedale, like from here.
You guys running a monopoly.
We are.
here.
I shut them down.
My upside down burgers destroyed them.
You're not the first person
They
that
did.
said that.
Yeah, they're not.
But again, you know, not to bag on them, but like if you don't adapt and change, you're gonna go under.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
period.
100%.
Yeah, if you think you can open up the next Wendy's, you have it coming, man. Like,
You do.
I think
The market will correct you.
Yeah, for
No
sure.
doubt.
Like, look at Five Guys. Like, Five Guys burgers and fries. Like, they did a little bit. It's a burger, but the way they did it, like,
It was the process behind that burger that made it successful.
It was.
I worked for them for about 8 months.
Yeah, it wasn't the burger. Like, their burger is not special.
It's not.
Like, people would sit here and argue, "Oh, it's a good burger." No, it's not. I mean, it's a burger.
Yeah.
It's a fair
It tastes
price
like a burger.
Yeah. Like, I like In-N-Out burger. I'm like, this is one thing, dude, I love touching base on with people, and I love sharing this. I hope this goes viral.
I'll just share this piece on social.
Yeah. But seriously, I want to educate people on food.
Please.
And don't punch me in the face because you might after. But let me finish what I'm saying.
All right. I'll hear you out.
I'm sick and tired of people bagging on McDonald's.
Okay.
Because here's my reasoning. It is $1.39 hamburger.
Yeah.
What do you want that $1.39 to
be?
taste like? Like Domino's. Yeah. It's a $5. Now it's what, $5.55 pizza.
But like you pay for what you get. What do you expect it to be?
But like, there's so many people out there like, they're like, oh, that was gross. Well, you paid $3 for it. Like it was gas station sushi. Like, what do you want it to taste like? And like in this world like we live in, like everybody thinks their opinion matters. And I try to educate people, like, when you go into a restaurant and you don't like their noodles, do you really feel like you should get on Google and say they have gross noodles? That's your flavor profile that you don't like. Judge them on their service, and maybe even judge them on their price. Like, man, I feel like they're a little steep for what I got. They're a little steep, because that's what I do. Because I went to a steakhouse. And I don't know if you think this way. So I went to a local steakhouse in the Boise Valley, and I ordered a $65 steak. And to me, in my head, if you're throwing hands saying I charge $65 a steak, that says I'm perfect and we make no mistakes. Or you would charge Denny prices. You know what I'm saying? Because a Denny chef is not going to get that steak perfect. I'm sorry.
They're not.
Or they'd be working somewhere else. And so when I order a steak, a 16-ounce ribeye steak, medium rare, it better come out a 16-ounce medium rare steak. And I cut thousands of steaks a year, so I know what a 16-ounce steak was. Sure. I got a 10-ounce steak. And some people are like, oh, it's after it's cooked. No, this was a 10-ounce steak. It was teeny.
It was never 16 to begin with.
So I paid $65 for a 10-ounce steak, and it was well done. Oh. And they charged $65.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
I lost my mind.
I would too.
And again, I pulled the waitresses, and I told the manager at the time, I was like, I was more mad at the waitress, but this is what I did. Is I grabbed the waitress, and the first thing I said is, do you have a new chef on the grill? And she's like, no. I'm like, can you double check with your manager, please? And she's like looking at me like I'm a weirdo.
You're like, please just do it.
And so she did. She was like, actually, this is his third day. I said, okay.
All right.
And then I explained to her why I was mad. And she, advertising that she was a waitress for 20 years, she should have caught that. She should have caught that steak being small. And to me, maybe she's not a trained eye, but like to me, if you're handing out steaks, you should know what a medium rare steak is. Well done. Well done's going to be super
especially for $65.
Stiff. Yeah. Well, a well done steak is going to sit there and not be weeping any juice. A ribeye steak that's medium rare is going to be leaking juices all over that plate.
Oh yeah.
And so they ended up giving me, and I didn't want anything. I just,
you just wanted them to be aware of the situation.
Aware of what's going on. Sure. And this is like the story I like to share people. Before you give a bad Google review, get some background information. It was that kid's third day. My job isn't to wreck his life. He's a new chef. Like, I remember being a new chef. It took me a long time to be able to cook steaks.
Your job's education.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, you mess up, And instead of being like a keyboard warrior, I like to really encourage people, just ask questions, man.
Well, you approach the situation right then and there, so everybody was aware of it, rather than doing it online, which chances are, who knows if it's going to be to the right person.
Yeah. And so that's I want to educate the world in that, because it's just not, I don't want to sound like a kindergarten here, but it's just not fair for you to to bag on, like, if you don't like my noodles,
Yeah.
you know, because that's your opinion.
Sure.
I have 1,000 other people that like my noodles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
you
mean,
know what I mean? Like,
you can't believe what everyone says, right? Because everyone has a different flavor profile when it
Yeah.
comes to their taste. Everyone's taste bud is different.
Yeah.
Mine is different than yours. Yours is
Yeah.
different
Yep.
than Sydney's. Like it's.
and I think like Google's really hurt a lot of businesses, in my opinion, just because that open keyboard, and you can't even like you can't even like defend yourself on there.
No,
Like,
you really
can't delete your comments. You can't
No.
delete like any bad things.
Well,
like
you have
it's
to
just,
be professional about the situation.
Yeah,
And
you're not going to go on there and start raving and ranting on it because then it looks horrible on you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I had a lady last year give me a bad. I was on cloud 9. I was on a catering job, catering for this awesome guy. Out of Weezer. I cook for him breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 days in a row. They all fly into Weezer. The one guy owns a ranch there, and so like 3 days of just them raving like, this is the best food. You know, it's super good food. And this one guy owns the third oldest steakhouse in the United States.
Holy shit.
And so he was just complimenting how good my steak was.
Yeah,
and
so
it
you're
was
like,
like, yeah, like, dude, like obviously he
yeah.
pays
I
professional
can do
chefs.
no wrong. I
Yeah.
am so good right
Dude,
now. Yeah.
and I get
feel
back
that
to
feeling.
like a nasty Google review. And then she even said she ate something at my restaurant I don't even serve. I'm like, and like my kids, so I was asking her about her, and they were bending over backwards to just try to like give her meal
Please
for
her.
free.
Please her.
Like, hey, I'm sorry you're upset. And like her Google review did not match what my
What happened
employees
in the-
said.
yeah.
Yeah. And
No, it
that's
never
the,
does.
No, and that's the frustrating stuff. Like that again, you have 100 people tell
Yeah.
you, and then
Oh,
that
yeah.
one. Like I just had this guy tell me, like
Yeah.
my steaks are on point, some of the best he's ever had. Owns the third oldest restaurant in the United States,
Yeah.
and then I come back to this, and that's what I focus on.
Sure.
And it's
But a
just
lot
like,
of the people
do.
that take the time to leave these Google reviews, chances are they're gonna be back.
oh yeah, for
That's
sure.
what we've
Dude,
grown
I've had
to
so many
realize.
people give me horrifying reviews. I see them a week later.
Yeah, dude.
And we're like, weird, you're leaving this crappy review,
It
but you're
doesn't-
still coming here.
It doesn't bug me anymore, and it doesn't get to me because I'm like, yeah, I mean, either you're going to come back or you won't. Like, I had a lady give me a horrible review a few years ago, and she's like, I've seen your reviews lately. They were pretty good. So I came back in and tried it, and she's like, I'll be back again and again and again. I'm like, awesome.
It's probably
See?
the same burger it was 3 years
well,
ago.
it's not. But I've changed a lot of things. I mean, you're always changing things, right?
But
it's the same thing.
It's adapting.
It's
Yeah.
just adapting.
You know, I'm pretty friends with this guy. Pretty good friends with this guy. He's like, I only give a restaurant 2 chances, and he was talking about this pizza restaurant. And like, literally, you have kids making
Yeah.
this pizza. Like,
Seriously.
it's not the owner.
When you look in the kitchen,
Yeah.
there's high school kids back there making pizza. Like, what can you expect?
Yeah, like, what do you want? Like,
Yeah.
and this stuff drives me up the wall. Anyway, like I can rant about this
Oh,
all day.
I get it. So what you're saying is you're not opposed to paying for really good food, but like there comes a certain level of standard. Like
Well,
when
yeah,
you
if you're
get
paying
that
for
food,
that really good
right?
food,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
expect it
Like,
to be
I have
top of the notch.
zero
$65
problem.
for a steak, that
Yeah.
better be
Oh,
a
I
damn
have zero
good
problem
steak.
dropping $200-300 on dinner. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't bug me at all.
But it sucks. It's
But it
disappointing
sucks.
when
Would
it's
you drop
not
200 or
good.
$300 on McDonald's?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
See,
like,
like,
Yeah.
there's a difference.
yeah,
There's a difference.
That's the realm. That's the realm
Yeah,
we
you
live
have
in.
different levels of like,
Yeah.
like when I go to McDonald's, I'm not expecting to get a $100 steak
Yeah.
by any means.
Yeah.
Like I'm there to get some shitty fries and feel shitty later.
Yeah.
like
But
I
that's
know what
how-
I'm getting
You're
into.
like,
feel
hey,
like-
I'd like a tummy ache with a side of heartburn.
A side
Yeah.
of diarrhea, please. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's
That's how
just-
people are now. Like that's what our world is turning into.
Yeah.
Is people want to,
Their expectations are a fancy
Hi,
golden steak
but they don't want to pay for it.
with
Yeah.
a McDonald's $1.39 price, right?
Well, and
like they
it's-
just don't want to pay for it.
Well, it's so funny. So I talked to this gal at a catering gig a couple years ago, and she was super cool. And I was just talking about like I don't know if she does marketing. I don't know what she does, but she was telling me that she blames Amazon
Really?
for all the United States problems on marketing.
Interesting.
I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, when you get on Amazon, you truly can find the best price and have it you can have it the
tomorrow.
next
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And so people get so used to that, they try to bring it into other establishments. It doesn't work. And I kind of feel like it's kind of gone into every establishment in this.
That's
like
interesting.
people
I mean,
like,
it's-
well, I can go get a burger down at here for this price. Well, then
Go
go
do
there.
it. Yeah.
But like I've seen that tremendously. Like like for example, Aaron Franklin sells some of the best brisket. Like he was ranked like number one for a
long time.
Yeah, and sells awesome brisket. Like his burnt ends sell for like $32 a pound. I would be booed out of the state.
Dude, you'd be shot. You'd be living anymore.
Like no one would show up. No. Like and so it's definitely like time and place for stuff, and people feel like they can just totally bargain shop at your restaurant, and I'm like, not here, man. Like I have to.
This is what
I have a family. Like I have bills I'd like to pay.
Food prices are going up because so is the cost to get the things for the food.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it all goes up, so you got to raise your prices.
Yeah. Like stop selling egg burgers right now.
Yeah, seriously, they're expensive right now,
dude. It's insane, and that's what people don't understand. Like, someone was asking me the other day about meat prices, and I'm like, actually, to be honest, meat prices are not up. We were checking our books. Yeah, we were checking our books from like even COVID, like pre-COVID, like 2020. Like brisket's really about the same.
It's just gone like this a little bit. I mean, it really hasn't changed much.
Yeah, chicken went up because of that weird chicken thing, but it's back down to like $50 a case. I'm getting chicken thighs, I think, for $50 a case, 50 pounds.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
It is, like, super good. But then, like, you got your cream cheese that's through the roof. Yeah, you got your eggs are through the roof.
Yeah, like, for me, a box of lettuce is $70.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Romaine lettuce. I don't know what happened there, but, like, we were getting murdered on it. Yeah. And until they switched to, like, the farm out of, I think it was, like, Mexico or whatever.
Something like that,
Because, like, I guess the stuff we get in the fall time comes from out of California, and that was all bad lettuce or whatever. Yeah. Whatever their excuse was. COVID, probably.
Sure.
Okay, not to interrupt. I got to peace out. It was nice meeting you.
You too. Hey, drive safe.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Yeah. But, it's just funny, like, what people don't understand, like, in our world, what like, being a restaurant owner does, like, they don't know that our lettuce went up. They don't know that.
They don't know that at all.
Unless it affects them, like eggs right now. All the memes all over Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. People proposing with an egg in their hand.
Because it's gold right now.
But like I was in Winco looking at lettuce, and Winco lettuce wasn't up.
Sure.
But Shamrock lettuce was through the roof.
Yeah.
Through
Shamrock,
the roof.
Cisco for us, because I use good leaf lettuce for all of my stuff, and that stuff is ridiculously expensive right now.
It is.
But you go to Winco and it's the same, because they can absorb all those prices, right? They can afford to like lose a little bit of margin. Like for us, it's like it kind of hurts a little bit.
Well, and it hurts them if they can't sell it either. Like there is a point. There is a point where people are going to walk in and be like, I'm not buying lettuce today.
Yeah.
And then they have to eat the cost of it. So I truly believe there's just some stuff they truly can't. I've never worked in a grocery store, but like there's a threshold. Like I'm not buying eggs right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, once it hits a certain price point, like people just like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there with eggs. I'm not paying $90 for 15 dozen. Not going to happen.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I'm not going to make cake right now.
Seriously.
If it needs, you're not offering cookies this week. We've switched to. That's why I'm doing an ice cream dish this week. I know it's winter.
Yeah.
But I don't have to deal with eggs in this ice cream dish. So, we adapt, but people don't know why we adapt.
Or why something goes off your menu that you've had on for a while, and they're like, what happened to that? That was so good. But I was like, well, you're the only one that was eating it. We need to change.
And that was kind of like full circle here. That was kind of like my desserts. Like I would make them fresh every day. Sure. And people were buying them when the restaurant opened, but then like
disappeared.
Just stopped buying them.
Just
so
wasting.
I stopped throwing half a peach cobbler away. It just sickens me. I hate one thing I'm known for is how much I hate wasting food. It bothers me. You see these little kids in foreign countries like starving to death, and I am throwing away.
Like, here's a pie. Here's a steak.
We stopped with the new menu. Like we didn't sell ribs for 6 weeks, so I took ribs off the menu. I'm glad Jimmy Joe, you love them to death, but I have to sell them.
One person, unless you buy all of my ribs, I cannot sustain this.
And so, and again, I love all my customers. They're great. They keep us afloat, but you also got to do what's best for your family.
Oh, dude, yeah. And I mean, it's just educate the proper way of educating your customer, right? So that they understand. They're like, oh yeah, no biggie, like. we'll give this new thing a try, right? Like maybe it could become the next thing for them. Like, so it's just, you're always trying things. You're always finding that next thing that maybe we'll do just a little bit better. And if it doesn't, great, you come back. Like you always have a baseline, right?
Well, and I think like not owning a restaurant, I was I was out of the restaurant industry forever when I opened up the Bybee-Q pit, you know, and, you know, I had this big menu, and I realized I wish I would have opened with a small one. I mean, I guess it wasn't huge. I mean, it was one page, but still, I wish I would have went to 3 entrees and a special.
Just chopped it down to like 5-6 items.
Yep.
Like your main 5-6 items, and hit that hard.
And that's the new menu. That's what we did Sunday night. Me, my wife, and my son sat down on our bed, and we just hashed it out. Like, and then I love our shout out to Toast. I love our point of sale system because they just tell you what you sell. Like, this is what sells, and this is when it last sold, and this is how well it's doing. This was its peak month, and and so we went through everything, and I was like, oh,
we're not selling this, we're not selling that.
Yeah. And so we just broke it down into what we wanted to sell.
Yeah.
And, we should open next week. Well, I'm going to call it Bybee-Q Pit 2.0.
There you go. Just do another grand reopening.
Yeah. And just, and there were some hang-ups, like, we were having people come down from Meridian and Boise at 2:00 for barbecue. Well, barbecue wasn't available until 4:00.
Ouch.
And it was upsetting. And I don't blame them. I mean, I felt like I advertised that well enough, but, mistakes happen.
What I have learned is people do not read it. Unless it's right here in front of their face, unless they see it 15 times, they're not going to remember.
Well, and it's funny because, like, my wife and I thought of, like, instead of doing, like, social media, like, picture posts, like, if you do, like, a video post.
They love videos.
Yeah, they get more views. They don't have to read.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was another thing we talked about is reaching people, is just do a video of you talking because they absorb information way better. And I think that's why, like, podcasts do so well.
Podcasts are doing great. Like all of, like, when I post social media videos, like, it's all videos. Yeah. And that's what gets the most engagement for me. They can listen. Yep. They don't have to hear or watch and read, right? And then you can literally break down each thing and tell your story. Show them about your food. Like, you can do a whole series on your restaurant, and then people will, like, because that's how Franklin got popular, right? Like, they just did videos, and then they, like, told people about it. Like, it's all in the story, right? So,
well, and like, I've learned really, like, you're right. What I've learned is, like, restaurants are so hard to start. Like, you could pretty much
show the hardest thing in this planet to start.
Like, you could pretty much show everybody what you do and just be like, good luck. You know what I mean? You go buy the $35,000 smoker. And I at first I was like, I gotta keep these recipes secret, and like, fuck that, dude. If you want to take my key lime pie recipe,
no one is gonna do it.
Like, they'll realize, like, I just spent $1,000 and I lost it because I sold one key lime pie. Welcome to my life. You know.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, there's no point in hiding anything these days. These people are so lazy.
Well, like, look at Coca-Cola. Like, oh, my recipe's locked up. Like, dude, I'm still gonna go buy Coke, even if Jimmy Joe opened up.
I know what I can sell. I can make it.
I know you make a good product, unless they give it to me for a penny and you're charging 2 pennies. Like, so it's kind of funny, like, the secret sauce or the secret this, and, like, McDonald's, like, get over yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, people are over your Big Mac sauce. Like, you can seriously put the recipe out. And so
many different people have already recreated it, right?
Like, I guess maybe they just like the mystery. I don't know, but, like,
mystery sells. That's the thing. Like, when you call stuff secret sauce or secret this, and, like, they liked it. They're like, oh, what's the mystery behind this? I think it just piques their interest more than anything.
I can see that for sure. Like, I used to be worried about people, like, oh, is people stealing my brisket recipe? I'll teach anybody how to do, because my recipe only works in the smoker I use. I bought a Traeger because I was during COVID. I was like, oh man, I hate firing up this big smoker. It's kind of getting expensive. Like, I have to heat the whole thing. If I have 40 briskets in it or one, I still have to heat the whole thing. So I went down. We got that stimulus money, and so I went down to Home Depot and bought a Traeger. And dude, I wasted a lot of money on brisket. I could not I could not duplicate it. I tried. You know,
do you have a wood-fired smoker? Is that like what you do everything out of?
Yeah. And you
That's
just
the secret, man.
Well, it's the secret. It's got
knowing how and when and why.
It's got thick walls, so the retaining of heat. It's got fans. It moves air. It's rotisserie, and so like the process I've done was designed
around that,
and I could not. I mean, there's guys I see on Facebook and TikTok and all over that do these briskets in a smoker or in Traegers.
Yeah,
can't do it. It's my Achilles heel. You know, I can't.
That's okay.
You know, but
and you don't know if it tastes good though, right? You just see the video, like.
Yeah,
it looks good, but who knows what it tastes
like?
Well, right?
like these brisket videos, like people post, like do you know a lot about brisket? So it's two muscles. So brisket has a flat and a point. So it sits like this, and then a fat cap separates them. So like they'll get these videos like, look how tender my brisket is, and they cut the fat cap and they squeeze out the fat. Like, bro, show me the flat. Cut the flat and squeeze the flat.
Show me the actual meat.
Yes. Yeah. And so that stuff like that drives me nuts. You know, because I posted a brisket video a couple weeks ago. Well, no, it was with Christmas. I think it was in October, so months ago. And people are flicking me shit on the internet.
Sure.
Like, where's your smoke ring? And like just bagging on me. And I'm like, dude, it's my brisket process. Like my brisket's process is different than yours. Like, but you get these people like kind of full circle here are just jealous of your success.
Jealous of what you're doing.
Yeah, they wish it was them, so they got a bag on you. Like we do these flaming tomahawks. I pan fry them, but right before I serve them, we torch with a butane torch because that's what you have to use to torch. You know, I'm not going to be out there with a stick with wood on it. You know, we torch duck fat on them, and the duck fat runs on the tomahawk steak and then drips on the oven roasted potatoes, and it's kind of a fun presentation.
That sounds
and these people are like, that's going to be flame. That's going to taste like propane. I'm like, dude, these people out there, man, they just like sit behind their keyboard just angry at life. You know?
They love it.
Like,
come on, take a bite of it.
Like sitting in their boxers with their chub on, you know? Like shit like that drives me nuts.
I get it, man. I get it. Like it is rough. Like, I mean, okay, so for you, what's the next thing? Like, what are you working on? Like, what's next?
Definitely like my next big thing is an event center.
Yeah? That's what you want?
Dude.
Like, what do you want to do with your event center?
I love hosting stuff. Like I did on September, like my big hook was we did a Harry Potter day on September 1st, and I'm a Harry Potter freak. Like awesome. I listened to some of it, like like on the way out here. I'm on book 2.
Oh, that's funny.
And so, I did a Harry Potter event. We sold it. We sold 100 tickets. We sold out. We awesome. We mailed Harry Potter acceptance letters to our customers. They showed up.
Funny, dude.
Yeah, they showed up to the restaurant. We set up house tables like they would in Harry Potter. And I was like, dude, I could do this for a living. And my wife and I joke. Have you ever seen the movie White Christmas? It's old. Yeah. It's from the 50s. And I've always wanted to have my own like music theater dinner.
That'd be cool.
I would love to bring that stuff back. You know, I feel like it's a lost art where everything, you know, you're always in a theater. You're always. I think it would be awesome to do like a dinner and a show again. Where
that'd be cool.
And I don't want like. I'm not asking for like, you know, Nicki Minaj to come down and sing Christmas carols to people.
Sure.
But it would be awesome to find a local talent, like a local kid that could sing and promote him and boost their confidence to be able to sing in front of people.
And eat some good food.
I think it would be awesome.
Dude, what if you like got away from the restaurant side of things, like in the place that you're in now and just sell event tickets? Like all you have to do is just once a week, right?
So that's what we're talking about right now.
Okay. Like that would be cool.
Is going to where once a month, maybe twice a month, you know, hosting these special events.
Sure.
To where...
Because then you don't have to waste food, right? Yeah. You have zero waste. You're predicting everything that can happen. Like the only thing that you waste is if somebody doesn't show up, but you still got the ticket money, right?
Yeah. And so, that's where that Harry Potter thing came from is like, that was awesome. Like, it was so much fun. No stress, like, good stress. The stress I want, the cooking stress.
You're like, oh, I got to make this perfect and make this right.
Yeah.
Rather than just like, I got to please this customer.
And we did authentic, like, English cooking. So some of the stuff, like, we cooked a spotted dick that was horrible. It was so disgusting. Like, I don't know how these people eat it. Like, and I cooked it legit. Like,
Sure.
I was like, no, it calls for beef, like animal tallow. We put animal tallow in it. It was like, imagine eating like vanilla cake with, instead of butter, made with like beef fat. It was horrible.
That doesn't sound good.
It was disgusting. Some people liked it. And I warned people, I got up there.
You're like, this is going to be a little off.
Yeah. I'm like, and I warned,
with me.
Some people really liked it. Like it was like, it jammed with them. And I'm like, good for you. Awesome. We've had people request it. Yeah. Like, people are like, hey, can you make some of that spotted dick? I'm like,
no.
Sure, I guess. Like, it was disgusting. But
that's funny. I mean, that sounds like the next best thing for you. Because, right, like with the spot that you're in, it's hard to like get people to walk in, right? You give zero walk-in traffic. So if you were just selling tickets, people didn't have to find you on a daily basis. Twice a month, you sell enough to make your stuff for the month and some extra for the next one, obviously. But that's like a killer spot for you.
Like right now we're talking like, is there a need for like a Valentine's Day date night? Because I can't my space is, I'm not allowed to operate the restaurant Thursday, or I can only operate the restaurant.
You have weird hours.
Yeah. Wednesday or Thursday, Friday. Jeez, I don't even know my own restaurant hours. Maybe that's the problem. Thursday, Friday, Saturday is when I can operate the restaurant. So I'm like, shoot, like I think I can get some like couples in here to like
you can sell massive tickets and just have people like come in.
Cook your own steak. I'll teach you. I'll guide and direct you. Like my son, like I'll do the meat. My son can do the sides, and then my wife could do the dessert, and like. I have a fun date night where you cook your own meal, and we provide everything, so you're not out grocery shopping. And so we're actually thinking about, we talked about it Sunday night, so we're thinking about maybe doing something like that.
Do it.
Because like I love like that catering focus, like where you can just take what you're doing and master it. And
because you can take those 2 weeks in between each event and be really like hone in on your menu, hone in on what you're doing. That sounds like to me like you hate the restaurant side, and that's why it's not doing well. Yeah. It's because you hate it.
And some of it's monotonous. Like like
it's the same thing every day. Believe me.
Yes. It's the best part of it is the customers getting out there and talking to people. And I love people respond. Like we just had Dennis there on Saturday night. And I might get sorry Dennis if you listen to this if I get the time wrong. But they came in 6, dude. We talked until like 9.
Yeah,
like just sit there. Like
that's the best.
We catered Phil and Trinity there, super awesome. I call them my favorite power couple. Great people, absolutely amazing people. And we just seriously sat there and talked about life, and we talked about the business, and I shared my stories. They talked about they're building the house up. Bogus Basin Canyon. So we talked about that.
That's cool.
Just people you connect with, and
dude, I love that. That's the
like
best part.
if I shut down the restaurant, dude, I would truly miss that. I love connecting with people.
You wouldn't be shutting down the restaurant. You would still be bringing in those people.
Yeah,
because then you would still get to bring in those 100 people, 50 people, and then you're still getting that connection.
Yeah,
and you're just getting on a different level.
Yeah, and so definitely like we are looking at that
instead of look into it heavily.
Yeah. Because every event I've done is done super well.
Yeah.
Like we did breakfast.
I hear about your food all the time.
We did breakfast with Santa. Good hell. Dude, it was probably, since I've opened the restaurant, probably my third favorite day.
Really?
I was running,
making
pancakes and eggs.
That's
just
so
super
awesome,
fun.
dude.
But like the environment alone was, you could just feel the happiness. Like people, like we had these old ladies come in from like Payette. Like I'm like my wife told me the story. She's like, where's your grandkids? She's like, grandkids, we came in here. We want to sit on Santa's lap. And I was like, dude, epic.
That's so cool. Dude.
I provided a good service, super cheap. I think we did it for like $4.99 for kids, and I think it was like $7.99 for adults.
Oh, dude.
And then I realized I was gonna kind of lose my ass on it, so we just charged for drinks. And some people were pissed off, like, the way you advertise. I'm like, dude, I can't do everything for free. If you don't want to drink,
that's why you just Next time you just included
like
it.
I literally gave you breakfast for free.
Yeah.
You know, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
And we we did really well on it because at the time I didn't know how many people I think we did like $5,000 for breakfast.
Oh shit.
Like
that's nuts.
Dude, insane.
And it's only in like a short period of time, right?
We did it from 7 to 11. It was non-stop.
That's insane.
It was awesome. And everybody's so super grateful and loved it. And everybody's asking me like, when are you going to do this again? I'm like, well, next year, I guess.
You could almost open up just one day a week and just do something special for that one day.
And honestly, like I lost my sight. That was my goal. That when I moved into that spot, like that was my goal. And I don't know what. I knew I needed to access people, and I feel like I have now. And I think I would like to transition into kind of like what you're saying. But again, like I'm the type of person, like it takes people like, Jake, this is what you need to do. Like Jody, like, you know, like you need to do this. Like you found a niche and people like it. Stop doing this and do this. Yeah. And I think definitely I'm there, you know,
We'll do it.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
You know,
and everybody on this podcast is going to agree.
Hey, come on down. I want to make up an event here.
There you go.
Follow me on Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many events that you can do. So many.
Well, people are craving stuff to do. Yeah. They really are.
Like, give them something to do.
And they want to, like when we did the Harry Potter thing, kid you not, we had someone come up from Winnemucca.
Holy shit, really?
Winnemucca, Nevada.
That's insane. Yeah, like that's nuts.
I'm like
hours away.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? Like,
what are you doing here, man?
You know, and then we found out like there was another place in Cuna doing another Harry Potter thing. And I'm like, sweet, awesome,
like, hell yeah, this is sick.
Yeah, super trendy. Cool. You know, and so like we want to start doing more stuff like that. And so definitely I'm gonna start doing it. You know,
do it. Yeah, I would. I mean, like. Go home, sit down, like write out like what events you want to do, what things you want to plan, and then just start doing that.
Yeah.
And then communicate that, right? Yeah. Like use your Facebook, use your videos, use all the stuff that already gets a lot of views for you, and then you'll be able to sell tickets left and right, no problem.
Yeah, but people have already asked me, can you do like a Star Wars thing? We've had people ask us, hey, can you do a Lord of the Rings thing? I'm like, yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah. Why not, right? Do a Russian, dress up in Russian togas and do a whole like Greece thing, like whatever, man. Like do it all.
Well, and it works because I think I can't want to butcher his name. There's my brother-in-law really liked him. Something Babish, something. He's a cook.
Oh
on
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about.
But he would do like, hey, this is like Lord of the Rings cooking, and this is. I'm like, dude, that would be sweet. That's a really solid idea, and I'm like, I think I could translate that into an event, and so that's what we want to do, and I think that's what we're going to transition to this spring. I think March. We were looking at doing starting our first, like advertising our first event, whatever that event be.
Why not start with Valentine's Day, man?
Well,
I know it's close, but
you know, my issue with that is just self-doubt, you know. Like I have a little depression.
Your food is fucking phenomenal because I hear it from everyone out here. Like, if you had this food, like when I was talking to Dennis the other day, like I had no clue he knew you. He's like, I don't know this kid's name because this was before he started talking to a lot. And he's like, yeah, I had him out here at my house. Like he cooked for all these people. And I was like, is that Jacob? And he's like, yeah, that was him. And I was like, no way. Like I talked to him a while ago. Like I know who you're talking about. Like people know your food. People love your food. Yeah. Like do it, man.
I know. It's super hard, you know. Like
I get it. I get it.
It's that self-doubt, you know. Who wants to fail? Like
I
don't mind failing, but failing a lot sucks, you know.
Fail hard and fail fast. Because the faster you fail, the more you get used to it, the more thicker skin that you get, and the more averse to risk that you are. Because then you'll be like, fuck it. Now let's try this. Yeah. And you know, there's another side of that of trying too many things, right? Like there's too many shiny pennies to go after.
Hey, slow down, buddy.
Yeah. But you would rather be on that side because then you're always moving and trying to do something rather than having to wait for those moments of like, I'm depressed, I'm down, I'm tired, I just don't know what to do, and then waiting for those moments to like kick you in the ass. All right, now I need to do this.
Well, and for sure, because like when I worked at the prison, we would sit there, like there's a group of us. Mm-hmm. There was like Chance and Troy and Sasser. Yeah. We'd all sit there and like talk about real estate because like real estate, and you can make it big in real estate, not use other people. You can use other people's money to make you rich. And so we're like, we're going to do this. And all those other guys still work at the prison. And
they're all talk, no action.
Yeah, like I'm the only one, and I love them to death, dude. I would do anything for them, but I'm a risk taker.
People are scared to take risks, man.
Yeah,
like,
you literally have to jump off that cliff with no parachute and be like, well, I'm gonna die, but at least I'm gonna try.
And then think about that every time you get self-doubt. You're like, hey, I actually did this. Like, I know I can do it. Let's do it. Like,
my wife really is my big like cheerleader. You know, she's like, she reminds me. She's like, Jake, we haven't had a 9-to-5 job since 2020, and we're still making it.
Fuck yeah.
You know, and so like that's the stuff I need to hear because like that self-doubt, you know, whatever it is.
You get trapped in the weeds. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah. You know, you had to use this, you know, right now, January, February, I'm in a funk, you know, because there's no money coming in, you know, and it's not the fact that there's no money coming in. It's just like, I want to keep making the world a better place. My slogan, truly, I have a slogan. I've been using it a lot more, making the world a better place, one plate at a time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I want to stand by, and I'll always stand by it. Is the more money I get, is the more I can help, because I truly love helping people.
I love that.
You know, there's kids in this world that need help, and my wife and I, we have a sanctuary kitchen where kids can talk about their life and their struggles and their woes without judgment.
Love that.
You know, and so the stuff they just open up to us about, it's just heart-wrenching. You know, the struggles, like a 16-year-old kid, you know, one of our employees has to help pay rent. That's why he works.
Wow.
Like a 16-year-old kid in high school, you know, and you think about like some like teacher bagging on him because he's getting a D. Well, the kid's got bigger fish to fry. You know what I mean? He's got other worries. You know, is power going to be shut off this month, and you're bagging on him about his D in science? Like, connect with these kids more. Please, people out there, connect with kids more, because they need it, and they have struggles that you have no fucking clue about. And
just tell it how it is, man.
You know, and so we see this need in kids. And like, for example, we take all our kids out. If it's their birthday month, they get a pick. We're out, and we take the whole company out for dinner on
awesome.
us.
Hell yeah.
You know, and so you have to give back. And these kids, I kind of learned it from Gary Vee. I don't know if you've seen a lot of his stuff. I love the way he runs his businesses. And I'm an empathetic person like him. I'm super empathetic. Like one of his favorite quotes, and I didn't know I did, not his favorite quotes, but one thing he quotes is like, where a boss would come in and someone's having a bad day, they'd be like, why the fuck are you having a bad day? And like, he is like, oh my gosh, I hope everything's okay at home. And that's exactly what I think. Like, I hope, like, what's going on with this kid? Like, dude, he's depressed today. Like, what's going on?
And you just want to dig in and like find out what's going on.
Like, what awesome, can I do to help? Can I help? Is it something I can fix? Is it something I can ease? You know, we had a kid, and I'm not going to mention his name. You know, he's stressed out before Christmas. You know, come to me, and he lives in a trailer, and he didn't have, his pipe broke under his trailer, and his mom didn't have money to fix it. You know, like, that's real world struggles that these kids should not have to struggle with, but they do. You know, and then all of a sudden he goes to school and have a principal or someone or coach or treat him like shit. Like, dude, this kid's got other problems, and you're just adding to it. You know. Yeah. And so
I love what you're trying to do, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, people need help. You know, and that's I
agree.
And you know, I'm going to do the best I can, you know, with what I have, powerful. You know, and
that's very powerful.
Yeah.
And it shows. It shows in your passion. It shows in what you're doing.
Well, and I think that's what's made me very Facebook viral is people love.
They can hear it. They can feel it, dude.
Well, look at Mr. Beast. He does a lot of good. You know, he does it for different reasons, you know. But like me, like, people love that success story. They're sick and tired of watching CNN and Fox News, and all you get is negative. Well, it's negative. It's all negative. You know, and so like, we want to bring happiness to the world. You know, and
I love that, man.
I have good days and bad days. I'm not Jesus, or I'd be translated.
There's sometimes more bad days than good days.
Yeah, but again, like, I'm going to. I want an image, and my image is I want to be positive. I want to make a difference in this world.
That's awesome.
I want to leave a legacy.
That's inspiring.
You know? And so
that is very inspiring.
You know, I'm 36, and I'm going to fight this until the day I die. I want to make the world a better place. And I want to give a positive example to kids to, it is possible to get out of your situation, and it is possible to make a dent in the world and be positive about it.
Fuck yeah. Take notes, people. That was heavy shit right there.
My free Thanksgiving dinner, I had kids, 16-year-old kids serve people from the community, volunteer their time. I didn't ask them. They
dope.
came and they served for hours and hours.
Dude,
people, kids, not adults, kids. And they volunteered their time. The day before, they were there volunteering their time. I had some old people come. Sorry if you're offended by that comment. Peel my potatoes. But these were between 18 and 15-year-old kids that prepped this dinner.
That's
for
badass.
400 people to roll through my doors and feed them.
Dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
We have good kids
you,
in
man.
this world. Like people bagging on millennials and Gen Z, dude. Yeah, but we still have good kids and don't forget about them.
They're good. Yeah.
So
I love kids.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
I don't know if they like me calling them kids, like teenagers, I guess. Like they're kids to me.
I mean, they're kids. When they're younger than you, they're kids. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're 30, you're still a kid. I'm 36.
I'm 26, so I'm really a kid to you at this point.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. I mean, that's the same thing that we're trying to do with this podcast. And my mantra for all of my companies is I want to build a better community for future generations. Like, what are we doing now to help us? Like, it's no longer about me. I don't care. I'm 26. I got a long life left to live, but it's no longer about me.
Yeah.
What's going to happen after me? Like, what are we doing to help people after us?
Yeah.
What does our community look like now? How are we helping people now? Like, that's what we want to do with this podcast. Like, we want to get people like your story out there.
Yeah.
And like, that's how we're trying to do with the help of the community. And the more things that we can bring in, the more money that we can bring in, the more that we can do stuff like this, the more that we can do things that help other people, right? Because that's what it's about. And for me, that's what I believe. So hearing you say that's super fucking inspiring.
Well, I look at you and me as the foundation.
Yeah.
And let people build on top of us and what we've done. Is just, you just hope no one comes in with that wrecking ball in 30 years. You know what I mean? But again, we can't focus on that. But still, like that this generation needs a foundation to build on.
Do.
And if I'm the foundation and someone else can get super successful off me, awesome.
Hell
but
yeah.
please,
That's the
please,
point.
please keep doing good.
Gone are the days where you have corporations and people like hiding all the secrets, hiding what they were doing. Like it takes people like you and I to build that foundation, to expose those secrets, to show them how to make things so that they can stand on our shoulders and go even further.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's
sure.
not about us anymore. It's about how are we helping people to go above us?
Yeah.
Right?
And not stop. Like,
Sure. I mean, we don't stop either, right? I'm still gonna fucking destroy other people, like, because we're competitive. But how are we helping other people like beat us, right? We want people to beat us.
Yeah. But like, I also have that competitive side of me. Like, you know, like you're talking to that restaurant down the street. Like, you're like, I'm coming. If you're not changing your menu, I'm coming. You know, if you don't adapt, I'm coming.
That's why I'm here and they're not.
Yep.
You know, it's just how
you
it
can,
is, man.
You know, you adapted. You did something that they weren't willing to do or too scared to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and again, I'm not scared. Like,
Good.
I'm
Fuck yeah.
like,
You shouldn't be.
You know, I like the big trend right now is I'm coming for you. If you're, you know, and I am like I want other catering companies to be scared. Like, because I put out an amazing product at an affordable rate.
You're raising the bar, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want people to meet your bar.
We slashed prices this year. And I'm like, I'm sick and tired of companies blaming inflation on everything. I was like, where can we cut? And I cut, and I cut, and I cut. Because I want to be able to bring the best product I can for the most affordable rate I can, to where they're getting a deal and I'm making money. And that's where I want to be.
As long as you're making money and still paying the bills, like, dude, fuck yeah, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know, and so I want people to give me a chance. You know, I'm very personable. You know, people seem to like me.
Dude, you have a great energy.
I got the Citizen of the Year for Fruitland. Like, that was
man.
weird. Like,
that's so cool.
Like, I had some people tell me they were going to nominate me for Best New Business. And I'm like, oh, sweet. And they messaged me and they're like, dude, you got overwhelmingly like
all
Citizen of the Year. She actually she told me that I got a lot for new business too. I'm like, shoot, I could clean sweep them next year.
I can get them all. Hell yeah.
Like Pokemon over here. Gotta catch them.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, not to toot my horn, but like, that's what we did. Like, this year we got nominated, both of my companies, the grill and the store, out of 9,000 destinations. The restaurant ranked number 8.
Dude.
And the store ranked number 88. So like,
Dude,
we're on a level. It's fucking cool.
Sweet.
I'm pissed because I'm not number one, but like, dude, we're on our way.
But again, sometimes it's nice. Like it gives you that dragon to chase, you know?
And it was all fan favorite, top voted destinations, right? Like, so they went through and poured through reviews. They poured through Yelps. They poured through TripAdvisor. They poured through like Facebook stuff, and they found all this. And I was like, oh. Yeah. All this work for the last fucking 6 years is finally starting to pay off. So that's cool, man.
And it's awesome because that dream is coming true. Like I bet you 5 years ago, you would have never guessed that you would have.
Fuck no, dude. I was a lone kid.
How can I keep the lights on?
I was a lone kid sitting back there like, I don't know what I'm doing. What do I do? Yeah. I mean, it's great. You don't expect to be here, but I mean, I'm a big visionary guy, so I always see this stuff before it happens, but like you can never dream of this happening, right? You can think like, hey, that's where I want to go, but you might get there and you're like, holy shit, this is not even close to what I thought it was going to be.
Or how I was going to get there. Mm-hmm. You know, I would have never thought like I was going to be a CNA and a prison guard or whatever. Yeah. Well, they call them, you're supposed, I remember in academy, you're supposed to correct them. We're correctional professionals.
Oh, jeez.
Get fucked. I'm a babysitter for the state of Oregon.
That's funny. You're an adult daycare.
I was. You know, but I would have never thought my journey would have went like this, and I don't regret it. I've learned a lot, and it's made me who I am. Yeah. I think some of the prison system taught me that there's truly people out there that was just dealt a shit deck. When your mom's giving you meth at the age of 8, you're probably not going to be a good person.
Fuck no, you have every odd against you.
Yeah. You know, and so like people don't realize that there's a lot of people out there that just are dealt a shit hand, and they need help
more than people realize.
Yeah, for sure. Realize. Like I remember reading this guy's chronos, and that's their criminal history, what they've gone through. And this kid, I ran laundry service. I supervised inmates doing laundry for the prison, and this kid had the work ethic of no one I ever met. He was running. I'm like, all right, he's impressing me. He's just doing, dude, he did this every single night, 5 nights a week, and it never stopped. So I finally told him, I'm like, dude, awesome. Why the hell are you in prison? And he's like, this is all I know. Right. And I'm like, and he's the one that his mom started giving him meth at the age of 8.
Holy shit. Yeah, you know? I know somebody. I can't say like where they work or what they do, but like that's what happens. Like his first time he smoked meth was with his mom. Yeah. And the first time they smoked weed was with his dad. The first time like they did all this stuff was with their parents, and it was like, no wonder like you went through the prison system. No wonder you've had like a bunch of different jobs. Like no wonder like you had all these issues. It was like you were just dealt a shit hand.
Well, and it's dumb because
it's not their fault.
Yeah. Right? Well, and then Oregon just releases them back into that environment. Like where are they going to go? They have no money. They know nothing. No. You know, so they're going to go back into selling drugs and doing drugs because they just released to their uncle's house who. Who sells drugs, you know, and so, you know, there's people out there that were just dealt shit decks, and
sometimes this world like wants to almost keep them there, right? Like they're not trying to like promote stuff to help make them better, because I mean they're making ultimately the prison system is a business system. They're making money off people doing retarded shit.
We call them stocks. I called inmates stocks. That's what I called them.
They are cattle. That's
they are for sure. If everybody became really good Christians and stop doing like
billions and billions of dollars will be lost from the prison system. Like,
it is what it is. And so but like that kind of gave me my drive to be who I am today, and I'm very grateful for that drive to realize that people need help. And you know, and it's not just poor people. I know a lot of depressed rich people that have no friends. Oh yeah. You know, and they don't trust anybody. And you know, I think maybe they think that people are going to take advantage of them because they have money. What a life to live! Like, and so you know, that was my nether cell point for like the free Thanksgiving. Like, dude, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. None. Just come and be happy and become part of my big 400 person family. You know, that's awesome. I love people. That's so awesome. And so, and that's my big push. Like, not everybody struggles with something. You know, no one ever wants to air their skeletons out on the, you know, in the
dirty
air.
Laundry out on that ground out there.
You know, and so like I love that my restaurant is a very good sanctuary for people, and a lot of people open up to me about their lives, and I'm a really good listener, you know, and I give advice when it's asked, and I shut up when it's not. You know, sometimes people just need that ear to vent. you know.
They 99% of the time, you already know how you need to fix your situation. It's just getting it out of your own head.
And sometimes people need to hear that it's okay. You know, like Jody, you know, told me it's okay to sell pie. You know what I mean?
It's okay to make money off of this stuff, man.
Yeah,
like do it.
You can do this, you know? And so...
that's awesome.
Yeah, like like I said, my goal is to make the world a better place at one plate at a time, and I am not gonna when I stop trying is I'm 6 feet under. You know, I will not retire.
Good.
I will do this until. Stupid. Well, like to me, you retire from a job. This is a lifestyle. This is a lot. Yeah, this is a lifestyle, and I will do this until the day I die. Or my wife wants to divorce me. So, because I've been with her since I was 15.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Jacob, for coming on. It's fucking awesome.
I told you people do it.
I even heard you say it earlier. I caught you.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, Jacob, for coming on.
Dude, I'd love to come on again sometime.
After you get the next thing events going on, come back on, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
I need to come out. Sorry. I need to come out and eat.
You do.
Is when I do.
You absolutely do. I need your expertise on my food.
Dude, I love burgers. I'm a burger junkie. Yeah.
I know a place.
By chance. Super close to here.
It might be really close.
But yeah, no problem.
Thank you for coming on.
I had a lot of fun.
Guys, seriously, take notes for this thing. Yeah. This guy has a lot of good shit to say. Go check out his restaurant. Order him for your catering.
Yeah.
Seriously. Book him. Give him $3 million. This guy's going places. He needs some of that.
I would be happy with $2 million. I'm not
come on,
greedy.
Let's go for broke here. Come on, 3. But yes, awesome. Thank you guys. Absolutely. Thank you for listening. Did I say 19?
Yeah,
episode
it is 19.
Jacob Bybee.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on. As always, keep it local, everyone.